right, roll call of supervisors, please. It's clear we've got a few who are missing. Supervisor Boyd Frederick, Supervisor Zerban, and Supervisor Gable. I'm not aware of.
Gable called me and told me.
Okay. Record shows they're not in attendance, regardless of the reason, I guess. 25 in attendance. This time we'll open the floor up to citizen comments. Any citizen wishing to address the board, you will have 5 minutes. State your name and address. If you would, please speak directly into that microphone, if you would, please.
Good evening. My name is Adam Stoll, 5611 60th Street, Kenosha. I'm here on behalf of my company, Stoll & Associates. We're a veteran-owned company, and to let everyone know that we are behind Mr. Michael's resolution for the important need of a veterans court. And I think with now that the war is over and the veterans will be returning home, there will be even more bigger need for something like this. I'd just like to say that we're behind him. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the board? Yes, sir.
Hi. Jason Rossell, 4209 22nd Avenue. Good evening. Of course, I'm a circuit court judge here in Kenosha County. I came out specifically as I had heard about the resolution on the Veterans Court and had seen information about it from the Eau Claire County, which already does have one of the procedures, and just wanted to indicate, at least not in terms of the entire judiciary, I don't speak for them, but I do speak for myself and the criminal court that I'm currently in, that I am in support of Veterans Court as it provides, as it does in Eau Claire, many more options for the circuit court in terms of providing assistance to cases involving crimes. Quite often as judges, we're limited to the programs that either someone can pay for through their private insurance or programs that are allowed only through the Division of Probation and Parole. This county has a proud history now with our drug court in the last few years, a history of one that allows for additional services to be used and to be put at the court's fingertips to ensure the safety and the safety of the public and the rehabilitation of the defendant in front of them. And at least in Eau Claire County, the project of the Veterans Court has provided similar services and similar outreach. So I'd ask you to all support Supervisor Michael's resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the board? Any other citizen comments? Seeing no other comments, citizen comments are closed. Announcements of the chairman. Just very briefly take a moment to recognize chairman in the town of Summers, Vern Winke, who passed away on Saturday from a unfortunately very short battle with cancer. Vern was someone who dedicated a significant amount of his life to the town of Summers, and certainly his leadership and direction in the town is going to be missed. And it's unfortunate, but it wasn't too many weeks ago, two and a half or so, that he chaired a meeting at the town hall. So he was active in all that he did in the town of Summers right up until the end of his life. So with that, I certainly recognize Mr. Winke and all that he's done. We will have an executive committee meeting next Tuesday at its normal time. I will not be in attendance. I don't believe right now. I've got a schedule conflict, so Vice Chairman Eckerness will chair that committee meeting. If there are any other conflicts for that committee, if you'd let me know so we can make sure that we've got a quorum. I will work with the Vice Chairman as well as Corporation Counsel's office to get the agenda put together. I want to take just a moment to address what, if you haven't heard, it was probably the worst kept secret here in the county board, the opinion that came from the district attorney as well as Corporation Counsel relative to my involvement in the recent project at Caba, their relocation. I don't want to get into too much here other than to address a couple of issues. First of all, you know, I'm pleased with what amounts to about a 2, maybe 3 paragraph letter, a total of 8 or so sentences that say, as I could have told anyone who asked me, I did nothing that was against any local or state statute, policy, ethics, etc. Clearly, as was stated, there could have been a little bit better disclosure. You can check with Corporation Counsel. It's been referenced in here. If you don't have a copy of this, by the way, I can certainly get one for you and make it available. that there's probably no one on this county board who asks more questions looking for either informal or formal, verbal or written opinions from Corporation Counsel than I have over my tenure here. Not because I have potential conflicts or perceived conflicts, but because I think it is just what you do when you are either chairing a committee, chairing the board, involved in the community as I have been and will continue to be. One thing I would like to clarify in here is, the statement that just because your partner is working on it, in my case, that was not my defense in any way, shape, or form. I know that regardless of who's working on it in my office, if it's in my office, it's a potential conflict. So that was not my defense. It was a statement that was taken and addressed, and I appreciate the way the DA as well as Corporation Counsel addressed it. What this does do is tells us that maybe there is a little bit more work we need to do on our ethics policy. I'm certainly happy to tackle that. It came up 2 years ago. If I recall, at that point in time, there were some accusations made then as to my involvement in various activities within Kenosha County. Again, all of which went nowhere. So I guess my point is this. First of all, it's clear where it comes from. It's clear why the questions are asked. And remember, in politics, just because you think the person you confide in is your best friend, chances are good he isn't or she isn't. So when you've got City Hall waited with bated breath for the report that's going to come out about all this criminal activity that the county board chairman was involved in, only to be disappointed as they were, it certainly comes back in an awful big hurry on where and what the impetus behind the question is. If you want to know, I'm happy to sit down and talk with you. The question you should ask is, in addition to the question that was asked, is what was his involvement with, I don't know, pick a cause. I know we gave some money on this county board, or earmarked it, was never spent, for the Shalom Center and the homeless shelter that they constructed. Truth be told, my company donated the services to design that building. All of it. That's what we do. We give back to the community in that way. When Chrysler was talking about building in the town of Summers, CABA had to put together a plan very quickly to talk with the group there and see if there was any opportunity for them to come. My company provided some services at no cost to help get them here. I've donated tens of thousands of dollars worth of free architectural services to Kemper Center, most recently to get the dome with Carthage College and that whole partnership put together. Do a little background check and a little research on that. I'm happy to tell you and show you all of that work as well. Why? Because it's stuff that we do. It's something that I do and we do on a regular basis. CABA was also looking to do something with the former Chrysler plant here. Again, they needed a very quick turnaround on a drawing that they could get to Fiat at the time. Asked us if we could help. We did help. No cost there. Another project that we knew wouldn't be a project for us ultimately. Fiat's not going to come in here and spend, or Chrysler when they wanted to build in Summers, spend $200+ million on a facility and give that work to a small architectural firm as we are. So I knew there wasn't any opportunity there for me to parlay that into something more than it was. It's giving back to the community to do what's right, to help create jobs. So that's what we do and how we do it. If you've got questions, I'm happy to ask them. If you're running for something, there is no way I'm going to be able to help you get there in the manner in which you'd like me to help you. You got to get there on your own. So I wish you luck in that respect. If you've got further inquiries you'd like to make, I'm happy to discuss them with you. This opinion tells us some things that we should pay attention to on the board floor here. I will get that on the agenda for the executive committee in the near future, and we'll address it, and we'll see if we can go forward from there. That's all I have. Supervisor reports. Supervisor Michael.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last Wednesday, I had the privilege of representing Kenosha County, honoring 4 young men who had just earned their Eagle Scout. It's from Troop 435, sponsored by the VFW. And I just want to briefly explain one of their service projects. Each of the boys had to spend several hours volunteering in the community, The first young man was Nicholas Miracle, who was out at the Bong State Recreational Area, winterizing picnic shelters, picnic tables, and things like that. The other Eagle Scout was Frank Becker, who designed and built a portable computer cart for St. Peter's School. The third Eagle Scout was Drake Kleinschmidt, who designed and built a garden at the Harbor House Assisted Living. And the last Eagle Scout was Alejandro Maldonado, who designed and executed a landscaping project for the Every Child's Place. These are young men who spent over 12 years in their scouting, from Cub Scouts onto Eagle Scouts, from Cub Scout to Boy Scout to finally to Eagle Scout, who have spent a substantial period of time giving back to this community, and it was an honor to present their awards from this county on behalf of the county executive, Jim Cruiser. There were several individuals there as a packed house, and it was very satisfying to see these 4 young men accomplish what they did. Next, I have brought before you Resolution 82, and there's several individuals that I want to thank for their help. First of all, Joe Cardamone from the Corporation Council spent quite a bit of time with me drafting the resolution. I also met with the county executive, who is in favor of this resolution. I also met several times with the Kenosha County District Attorney, Robert Zaft, who stated he is on board and he believes that this is a good idea, and he is wishing to be involved in this this court if it is authorized by the county board, which I hope it will be. I also met with several judges. Judge Milosauskas, who is currently the judge presiding over the drug court, and then also Judge Wilbur Warren III. He is the judge that would be implementing this court. He has also, he was sent to Buffalo, New York, which is the initial court, the initial Veterans Court was started there, and they are willing to mentor this court system if it is in place. So I want to thank the members of the county that helped me in this, and as I stated, I'm going to be urging your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Certainly, many supervisors have probably read the news reports that we've had county employee emailing politically driven emails during work time. I have met with the personnel director for the purpose of reviewing what happened and considering whether we need to tighten up our policies. Certainly there's room for improvements, certainly room for clarifications. What happened clearly is in violation of the ethics policy that this county adopted, and certainly there's a prescribed duty by the district attorney to enforce. There has been a subsequent request, or there have been multiple subsequent requests for information relative to this, and I think in the days or weeks to come you're going to see that there's been more activity relative to emails on work time. One thing that came out of that meeting that was somewhat disturbing was that the AFSCME representative sought and received permission from the county administration to send out emails organizing a bus trip to protest or rally in Madison. Whether our administration viewed it as a union activity or a political activity, I guess the public will decide. But at our next Finance and Administration Committee meeting, certainly a review of the policies and the clarification is in order and will be in place, and I've asked Mr. Riedel to make recommendations, and depending on what other information comes forward, certainly we're going to take a look at who knew what when they knew it. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none. Clerk.
Ordinance 15 from Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee regarding Summers USA LLC owner, Excel Engineering Incorporated agent, requesting approval of an FBO floodplain overlay district boundary adjustment located in the town of Summers. Submitted judiciary, whoop, wrong one. Sorry. It's our first day back after a few weeks. Brunig, yes. Esposito, yes. Colmeyer, yes. Underhill, yes. Decker, yes. Hallman, yes. Gable, yes.
Supervisor Brunig.
Move ordinance 15.
Ordinance 15 moved by Brunig, seconded by Supervisor Esposito. Supervisor Brunig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This property is located on the northwest corner of I-94 Frontage Road and County Trunk Highway S. The request is for a floodplain overlay district boundary adjustment requiring a cut and fill in the 100-year floodplain to allow construction of an 832 square foot building addition for storage and the installation of additional paving for semi-truck parking. The county conservation engineer reviewed the calculations to ensure compliance with the county's equal area and equal volume floodplain boundary adjustment standards. The town of Summers recommended approval of the request. The Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee reviewed the item at their meeting of December 14, 2011, and recommends approval of the request.
Any other comments? Anyone on the issue? Supervisor Rose.
Just a quick inquiry. I thought ordinances required 2 readings. Why not this ordinance?
Supervisor Bruning, can you address the placement in the agenda? I didn't catch that point that Supervisor Rose is bringing up ahead of the meeting, so I don't have an answer for it. Corporation Counsel, anything to add there?
It's a change in the zoning ordinance.
Could you speak into the mic, please?
Sure. Oh, I turned the wrong one.
I would have to look at the zoning ordinance. I don't recall if the map amendments are 2 readings. If you could give me a minute, if you could maybe take the next item.
I'm happy to do that, and as I'm reminded here by the clerk's office, this is not changing the ordinance per se. It's, as you said, Frank, a map amendment. So if you want to look that up, we can move on to 81. We'll come back to 15. Everyone comfortable with that?
Resolution 81 from Judiciary and Law Committee regarding probationary cabaret for Lumpy Sports Bar. Michael, yes. Haas, yes. Ron Johnson, yes. Singer, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. Serban, yes.
Supervisor Michael.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move resolution number 81.
Resolution 81 moved by Supervisor Michael, seconded by Supervisor Haas. Supervisor Michael.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is for a probationary cabaret license for Lumpy Sports Bar located at 9251 Antioch Road in Salem, Wisconsin. The Sheriff's Department did conduct an inspection, which it did pass, and found that there was no violations. So I urge your support for the probationary cabaret license. Thank you.
Anyone on the issue? Resolution 81. Seeing none, I have one question myself. Has this particular establishment been before us before?
It's under new ownership?
Okay, that's my question. So we're not extending
No,
a probationary, we're granting a new one.
correct.
We have a new Lumpy, in other words.
We do?
Supervisor Brunig.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've known Brian Spindler since he was the manager over at Siebert's in Salem, and he was there for some time. Then he went to work for Lumpy's. Then there was a falling out through a divorce, and now he's back, and we're very happy to have him back at Lumpy's. Thank you.
Anyone else on Lumpies? I just like saying the name of the bar, I guess. Seeing nothing. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, Resolution 81 carries.
Resolution 82 from Judiciary and Law Committee regarding support for establishment of a Veterans Treatment Court. Michael, yes. Haas, yes. Ron Johnson, yes. Singer, yes. Ron Frederick, yes. Grilick excused, Zurbine, yes.
Supervisor Michael.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move resolution number 82.
Resolution 82 moved by Michael, seconded by Supervisor Johnson. Supervisor Michael.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a resolution that I've requested. I've done a lot of research on veterans courts. As I stated earlier, veterans courts started over 3 years ago in Buffalo, New York. It uses mentors, individuals that have experience within the, who are veterans who have combat experience, helping our young men and women who are coming back from their tour of duty and who will have issues. As I stated earlier, I met with several individuals within the legal system, with judges, the district attorney, and basically this is, I think it's a good tool that can be used to work with our current drug court, so there shouldn't be any additional cost, and it will give judges and district attorneys another option. If anything, one of the concerns talking to individuals within the community, people are concerned that the court system is getting weak and that people are getting basically, they're not tough enough. But actually when I explain to them drug court and what this veterans court would do is actually would protect the community. It would allow veterans or individuals that are on bond to be more regularly monitored, and would basically put them in the system much quicker and implement services well before. In most cases, individuals are not given services until after they're sentenced. And this allows the system, allows individuals to be entered into the system. As I stated, it has mentors and it allows different resources. One of the individuals, and I apologize that I failed to acknowledge, Mr. Green, Darrell Green from the Veterans Administration, who is the county's representative. I did meet with him several times and actually today to go over this resolution with him, and he is in support for this because these courts basically allow many resources to work together, and I think it's something that's viable and it will work immensely within this community. There is currently there's only three other veterans court in the state of Wisconsin, and I think we need to be one of the initial counties to get on board and to use every tool that we can. So I'm asking for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone on the issue? Seeing no lights. Supervisor Michael, I appreciate the effort and applaud the resolution that you brought forward and the work of the committee. Clearly, Kenosha County has taken on programs similar to this within our court system with the support of the judges across the board, and I think for the most part they've all proven to be successful on some level. I anticipate this one will as well, and I look forward to implementing it as quickly as we can. So again, I appreciate your effort and the effort of the committee. And as I've said previously, and we'll say again for the next few months, for not checking out early. Again, seeing no lights, all those in favor of Resolution 82 signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries.
Go on to claims.
Sure. I will give Frank 1 minute. Oh, here he comes. Back on ordinance number 15.
I'm not finding any exception for zoning map amendments. I know that's been the practice apparently, but I'm not able to find an exception to it. So I would say, unless there's some emergency here, I would say just put this on for 2 readings.
Well, I would entertain either a motion to suspend the rules, which we could do as well, correct?
You're supposed to give notice if you're going to suspend the rules.
And the 3 seconds I just gave doesn't count.
Doesn't
so
count.
I figured that was probably right. All right. With that, the chairman of the committee, I'm going to ask that this be considered the first reading. We will put it on the agenda for the next meeting on the 17th.
Claims 17, Stanford Rogers Jr., injured while in custody.
Go ahead and read them.
18, Mario Echoes, personal injury. 19, Connie German, constitutional rights violated. 20, Ralph Marcelano, injured while incarcerated.
Claims 17 through 20 refer to Corporation Council.
Approval of the December 6, 2011 minutes by Supervisor Arrington.
Supervisor Arrington.
I'd like to move the approval of the December 6th 2011 minutes.
Minutes moved by Supervisor Arrington, seconded by Supervisor Celebrate. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Motion adjourned by Supervisor Clark, seconded by Supervisor Michael. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Happy New Year.